Ask any consumer, stock picker, or analyst, and they'll tell you the same thing. The hottest company in business is none other than Apple. Among more than 50 research firms that cover Apple, not a single one recommends selling Apple stock. But in a lot of ways, Apple's more than just a company. It's become a set of values, rituals, beliefs, and passions. You might even ask, has Apple become a religion? Short answer, well, sort of. Plenty of writers have already said so. Umberto Eco once famously compared Macs and PCs to the two main branches of the Christian faith. Heidi Campbell, a professor at Texas A&M University, wrote a paper about the iPhone being labeled the Jesus phone. And the comparisons between Apple and religion are frankly pretty shocking. Apple's got its own creation myth centered around its hero and founder, Steve Jobs. And yes, there's even a second coming. Jobs was fired from Apple in 1985, only to return in 1996. Then you've got the devotees, the cult of Apple, and followers who will do and say almost anything for the company. There's even converts, non-believers who finally get an Apple product, and there's no turning back. And get this, globally, the World Christian Database as of 2007 estimated the growth rate of Christianity at 1.38%, Islam 1.4%, the number of people switching to Mac OS X 5%. How about churches and temples? Feast your eyes on these Apple stores. Some hotel rooms, the final frontier for free Bibles, now even come with complimentary iPads. And of course, Apple's even got a satanic opponent. But is Apple really a religion? Well, first, it might help to ask what a religion even is.
One of the most important factors for something being considered a religion is you think it's a religion, and you want other people to think it's a religion.
A religion is a community. Often religions are defined by the communities that keep to certain practices, certain beliefs, and hold fast to what are the values that are important that the community seeks to express through their rituals.
A ritual is a little similar to religion. You know, we all have rituals that we do.
Ritual is perhaps one of the key characteristics that we find in a religion.
Once something gets called a ritual, though, it takes on more importance.
No doubt, with every new piece of technology, we seem to create new rituals. So what's technology's relationship to religion?
Many of the functions that religion served in the past, in smaller kinds of settings, like a small town or a village, now are really fulfilled more by our enjoyment of mass media.
Everybody now has a BlackBerry or an iPhone in their pocket. What's the first thing that people do when they wake up in the morning? They check their email.
We find this kind of comfort and we find this way of making meaning in these other places.
They're constantly adopting these new rituals, whether it's checking your email or whether it's going online or whether it's going to Google to ask Google where to find an answer to something.
It's interesting that religion has often been in the forefront of using media, actually. They've been real pioneers. For instance, the invention of printing is by the Chinese. Woodblock printing was invented in order to reproduce Buddhist sutras for merit. And, you know, quicker you could do it, more merit you got.
So if religion has been instrumental in advancing technology, it's not so far-fetched to think that technology itself is religious. Which brings us to Apple, a company whose products are used more religiously than any other. But how did this whole comparison get started anyway?
It seems like this got started with a wonderful short essay by Umberto Eco, in which he compares Apple and Microsoft and says, Apple is Catholic, Microsoft is Protestant. And it is hilarious, you know, the sumptuous icons, the idea that everybody can be saved equally by Apple, you know, and the idea of Apple being more user-friendly and we will bring you there, you know, kind of, as opposed to, say, you know, Microsoft, where you're much more personally and individually responsible for your own fate. You might just get yourself abandoned in some isolated position where you have to make your own decisions. There will be nobody to save you, you know.
Okay, so Apple may not be a religion exactly, but maybe it's something even darker. Could it be a cult?
I'd be reluctant to refer to Apple as a cult because I think there are a lot of negative connotations that come from that. But in terms of whether or not there's a culture that is created out of the use of Apple products, whether there are shared values that through the ritualization of buying the new product or getting the new app, if there's a culture that adopts out of this, that everyone follows, that everyone sticks to unquestioningly, unflinchingly, then perhaps there is a certain rather fundamentalist aspect to all of this. Right? What's a first adopter? First adopter is so interesting. The people who are going to wait online to get the brand new product the day it comes out. So they line up, probably know each other. It's a community of first adopters, and they get the first iPad, or the new iPad is coming out, or the first iPhone, and they're there, and it's cool, right? Isn't it considered to be cool to be a first adopter?
The collective events of being at a church, these events now are highly mediated. So collective events use media to amplify and increase the emotional impact of the ritual, right? So that you get large television screens, you get better sound systems, you get special effects, you have wonderful lighting. People enter a kind of mediated space. I'm an Apple girl myself. I'm a Mac girl, but I converted only in '05. So I was late. On the other hand, of course, I was already Catholic.
And so, there are clear differences between the roles religions and technology play in our lives. Do they intersect? Absolutely. In a lot of ways, they even seem to help each other out. But maybe that's as far as we can take it.
You're often finding yourself creating the structure around the needs of the machine. So your lives are now structured according to when do you check your emails? How far are you from your computer? Religion says, okay, let's create a framework which provides time and space in our lives to sit and to reflect about the nature of existence, who we are, and what we're doing here. And a lot of these tools that we're finding, especially Apple tools, don't necessarily lead us to greater self-reflection or self-realization. So I think hopefully we can create a balance between how we use the tools and how we interact with everyday society, and also create a balance that allows us to step back to understand who we are so that we're better able to use them.
I don't think that any physical objects or any gadgets will ever replace for human beings the need for us to speak to one another and to be together in our own physical presence, because we've always had objects. These are just objects. They're really, really fancy objects that do really wonderful things, but they're objects.